The path of the Tarnished is one of constant deviation, a journey that, much like Geralt's, is defined as much by its detours as by its destination. The quest to mend the Elden Ring is the primary objective, yet the lands between are a sprawling, interconnected web of personal quests, moral dilemmas, and hidden tragedies. The Tarnished, a hero of necessity, is thrust into a world of broken covenants and splintered loyalties, where every choice, every small act of kindness or cruelty has a ripple effect that shapes the fate of the realm. For instance, in the same way that Geralt helps a rock troll or a troubled family, the Tarnished can choose to assist or betray a multitude of characters, each with their own complex motivations and secrets. This journey is not a simple linear progression, but a moral labyrinth where the line between right and wrong is constantly blurred. The Tarnished might choose to aid an ambitious sorceress seeking power, a vengeful warrior hunting a long-dead foe, or a tormented maiden seeking to escape her cursed fate. The very act of engaging with these characters pulls the Tarnished further into the lore and the history of the world, revealing the profound and intricate relationships that bind this broken reality together. The quests they undertake are not just tasks to be completed for a reward. They are opportunities to learn about the world, to understand the motivations of its inhabitants, and to make choices that will have lasting consequences. Furthermore, the Tarnished's path is often one of profound loneliness, a solitary pilgrimage punctuated by these brief, intense encounters. These interactions highlight the Tarnished's role as both an observer and an active participant, a silent figure who, through their actions, can bring solace to the suffering, vengeance to the wronged, or despair to the hopeful. The journey is a constant test of character, forcing the Tarnished to decide what kind of hero they wish to be in a world where heroism is a forgotten concept. As a result, the narrative is a deeply personal one, a testament to the power of individual choice in the face of a world-ending catastrophe. It is in these moments, in the quiet interactions and the profound moral decisions, that the path of the Tarnished is truly forged. Geralt's wanderings often lead him into the lives of individuals who, on the surface, seem to have nothing to offer him. The quest of swords and dumplings is a perfect illustration of this, a journey that begins with a mundane request, but evolves into an unlikely friendship and a test of Geralt's professional judgment. In Novigrad, Geralt encounters a humble swordsmith named Hattori, a master craftsman who, due to his poor reputation and a hostile environment, is unable to conduct his business. Hattori asks Geralt to help him with a business deal, a transaction that is far more complex and dangerous than it initially appears. This quest is a departure from the typical monster hunt, yet it is just as perilous. It forces Geralt to navigate the treacherous world of Novigrad's criminal underworld, where he must deal with ruthless gangsters and manipulative merchants. The quest is a test of Geralt's negotiation and intimidation skills, requiring him to use his reputation as a witcher to resolve a dispute without resorting to unnecessary violence. As a result, the journey to help Hattori is not simply about acquiring a new set of swords. It is about restoring a master craftsman's legacy and standing up for the little guy against the forces of greed and corruption. Geralt acts as a mediator and a protector, his role as a witcher extending beyond the battlefield and into the realm of human affairs. The quest also introduces a series of moral choices. Geralt must decide how to handle the gangsters who are extorting Hattori. He can choose to be aggressive and eliminate them, or he can try to find a more diplomatic solution. His decision has a direct impact on Hattori's business and his safety. This quest is a reminder that even in the most mundane of situations, Geralt's actions have consequences, and his choices define his character. It is through these seemingly small acts of kindness and justice that Geralt's true nature is revealed. He is not just a killer for hire. He is a man of honor who is willing to help those in need, even when there is no coin to be gained. The unlikely friendship that forms between the gruff witcher and the nervous, overly formal swordsmith is a testament to the idea that companionship can be found in the most unexpected places. This journey, therefore, is not a simple transaction, but a powerful story about friendship, integrity, and the enduring struggle of good against evil. Even in a world where those lines are often blurred, the political tensions and the persecution of mages in Novigrad come to a head in the quest. Now or never, a thrilling and consequential detour that puts Geralt in the center of a large-scale rescue operation. The quest is a direct continuation of a matter of life and death, and is a race against time, with the lives of many mages and non-humans hanging in the balance. Triss Merigold, having secured safe passage for the mages, requires Geralt's help to escort them out of the city before the witch hunters can capture or kill them. This mission is not a traditional monster hunt. It is a full-fledged urban stealth and combat mission. Geralt must navigate the city's treacherous alleyways and sewer systems, fighting off the zealous witch hunters and their henchmen at every turn. The atmosphere is tense and claustrophobic. The danger is omnipresent, and every corner could hide an ambush. Geralt's detective skills are once again put to the test. He must find hidden passages, use his witcher senses to track the movements of the witch hunters, and make strategic decisions to protect the vulnerable group of mages. The quest is a series of frantic, high-stakes encounters that test Geralt's combat prowess and his ability to think on his feet. The moral ambiguity of the situation is a constant presence. While the witch hunters are the primary antagonists, they are not mindless monsters but human beings who are driven by a fanatical belief system. Geralt's role as a protector of the oppressed, even when it puts him at odds with human authority, is a powerful theme that runs throughout the quest. The climax of the mission is a desperate dash to the docks, where a ship awaits to carry the mages to safety. The outcome of the quest is a direct consequence of Geralt's actions and his ability to navigate the dangerous political landscape of Novigrad. His success or failure determines the fate of Triss and the other mages. As a result, the quest is a profound testament to the power of choice and the impact of individual action in a world consumed by conflict and intolerance. It underscores the fact that Geralt's journey is not just a personal one, but one that is intertwined with the fate of the entire continent. The quest is a reminder that the greatest battles are not always fought on a battlefield, but in the darkest corners of human society. The world of the Witcher is one of desolate forests, perilous mountains, and cities teeming with both life and decay. It is a world where monsters of myth and legend stalk the shadows, and where the line between good and evil is a shifting, often indistinguishable thing. We often follow Geralt of Rivia on his grand, overarching quest, the search for Ciri, the girl who is more to him than a daughter. This central narrative is a powerful and emotional anchor, yet to focus solely on it is to miss the true meandering heart of his journey. For it is in the quiet, forgotten corners of the continent, in the small, seemingly insignificant contracts and unexpected detours, that we truly come to know the White Wolf. These seemingly random wanderings are not mere distractions. They are the very threads that weave the rich tapestry of Geralt's character, revealing his pragmatism, his keen intellect, and his deeply buried sense of humanity. Before we delve into the intricate details of these side quests and their profound impact, please take a moment to share your thoughts in the comments below. What is the one side quest from The Witcher 3 that has always stuck with you? And what about it resonated so deeply? Your perspective adds another layer to our shared journey through this fascinating world. The life of a Witcher, as chronicled in the sagas and sung by bards, is a simple, linear one, monster for coin, and nothing more. However, the reality, particularly during Geralt's frantic and exhaustive search for Ciri, is far more convoluted and morally complex. His path is not a straight line, but a sprawling, tangled web of detours and unexpected encounters, each one pulling him further from his immediate objective, yet paradoxically, bringing him closer to a fuller understanding of the world and his place within it. Consider, for instance, the seemingly straightforward contract that leads him to a dilapidated bridge guarded by a rock troll named Og. This initial encounter is a masterclass in subverting expectations. Geralt, ever the pragmatist, approaches the situation with a clear objective: eliminate the creature and collect his fee. Nevertheless, he soon discovers that the situation is not what it appears to be. Og is not a malicious beast, but a simple, hard-working individual, merely trying to earn a living by repairing the very bridge he is accused of destroying. The local guards, blinded by their prejudice and the common misconception that all trolls are savage monsters, have hired a witcher to do their dirty work. This situation forces Geralt to abandon his initial violent approach and instead employ his investigative skills. He must navigate not just the physical landscape, but also the treacherous terrain of human prejudice and misunderstanding. Furthermore, this encounter highlights Geralt's inherent detective skills, a facet of his character often overshadowed by his combat prowess. He interviews witnesses, observes the environment, and uses his heightened senses to piece together the truth, revealing that the real culprit is not the troll, but the corrupt officials who wish to exploit the situation for their own gain. As a result, Geralt is not simply a monster slayer. He is an arbiter of justice, a figure who stands against the tide of ignorance and cruelty. He teaches Og to better communicate with humans and ultimately finds a peaceful resolution, a testament to his nuanced moral compass. It is through these small, quiet victories that Geralt's character is truly forged, demonstrating that his journey is as much about protecting the innocent, regardless of their species, as it is about finding his adopted daughter. The quest, therefore, becomes a profound lesson in empathy and the rejection of preconceived notions. It is a subtle yet powerful reminder that the world is not simply black and white, but a complex mosaic of greys. These journeys, these unexpected sidetracks, are what make Geralt a legend, not just for his sword arm, but for his profound wisdom. Furthermore, if you are finding this exploration of Geralt's character as compelling as I am, and you would like to see more deep dives into the lore and stories of The Witcher, please consider subscribing to the channel. Your support allows me to continue creating content like this, and I am grateful for every single one of you who decides to join our community. This is just the beginning of our deep dive into the hidden paths of the White Wolf. Geralt's search for Ciri takes him to the rugged, isolated Isles of Skellige, a land of Norse-inspired clans, ancient traditions, and powerful, untamed magic. The quest, The Cave of Dreams, is a deeply personal and emotionally resonant detour that takes Geralt into the heart of Skelligan culture and the painful legacies of a noble family. The quest begins when Geralt is asked by the Jarl, Madman Lugos, to help him find his missing son, Hjalmar, and a group of warriors who have gone missing in a treacherous cave. This initial premise seems to be a straightforward rescue mission. Nevertheless, upon entering the cave, Geralt discovers that the situation is far more complex than it appears. The cave is not just a simple cavern. It is a repository of shared dreams and nightmares, a place where ancient magic has made the deepest fears and longings of the clan's ancestors and living members manifest. As a result, Geralt and his companions are forced to confront their own inner demons and a series of powerful, dreamlike entities. The quest requires Geralt to use his wits and his knowledge of ancient rituals to navigate the psychological and supernatural obstacles within the cave. He must understand the history and mythology of the Skellige clans, as well as the personal traumas of the characters around him. The quest is a metaphorical journey into the collective subconscious of the people of Skellige, a reflection of their struggles, their triumphs, and their regrets. The monsters within the cave are not just physical threats. They are manifestations of psychological pain and unhealed wounds. Geralt's role is not just to slay them, but to understand them, to understand what they represent to the people who are suffering from their influence. The quest culminates in a confrontation with a powerful magical creature, but the true victory is not in its defeat, but in the resolution of the internal conflicts of the characters. The journey through the Cave of Dreams is a powerful reminder that the greatest battles are often fought within the self. It also serves as a crucial piece of world building, immersing the player in the unique and fascinating culture of Skellige. It highlights Geralt's role as an outsider who, through his empathy and his skills, is able to gain the trust and respect of the fiercely independent Skellige people. This detour, therefore, is not a distraction from the main narrative, but a vital and enriching part of the journey, a deep dive into the lore and the human element of the world. While Geralt's primary focus remains his desperate search for Ciri, the urban labyrinth of Novigrad presents a new kind of threat, a darkness that is not of the forests or the ruins, but of the human heart itself. The quest, The Master's Legacy, introduces Geralt to a series of gruesome murders that are not the work of a ghoul or a vampire, but of a cunning and deranged serial killer. The investigation begins with the death of a friend's colleague, a simple request for help that evolves into a city-wide hunt. Geralt's path crosses with a string of seemingly unrelated murders, all of which share a common grotesque signature. The victims, all from different walks of life, are found mutilated in a way that suggests a ritualistic or deeply personal motive. This quest is a profound departure from the typical monster contract. Here, Geralt must utilize a different set of skills, not his knowledge of monster weaknesses and alchemical oils, but his razor-sharp deductive reasoning and his ability to read people and situations. He becomes a true detective, a Sherlock Holmes in the world of The Witcher. His investigation takes him through the grimy underbelly of Novigrad, from the opulent homes of the city's elite to the seedy back alleys and brothels. He interviews witnesses, sifts through clues, and carefully analyzes the crime scenes, much like a modern-day forensic investigator. The tension in this quest is not derived from a combat encounter, but from the slow, creeping dread of realizing that a human is capable of such profound evil. The quest is a moral labyrinth, forcing Geralt to consider multiple suspects, each with their own motive and alibi. The final revelation is a shocking twist. The killer is a seemingly respectable and pious doctor named Hubert Reich, a man who, driven by a twisted and obsessive interpretation of a religious text, believes he is ridding the city of sinners. This conclusion forces Geralt to confront the unsettling truth that the most dangerous monsters are often those who wear the guise of humanity, and that their motivations can be born of something far more insidious than simple hunger or rage. This quest is a powerful testament to the complexity of Geralt's character, demonstrating his competence not just in the face of supernatural threats, but also in the darkest corners of the human psyche. While Geralt's quest for Ciri is his primary driver, the personal relationships he has forged over the years are a constant presence in his life, often leading to detours that are as emotionally charged as they are dangerous. The quest, The Last Wish, is a perfect example of this. This mission, which is a pivotal moment in Geralt's relationship with Yennefer, takes a pause from the urgent search for Ciri and delves into the long, complicated history between the Witcher and the Sorceress. The quest is not a monster hunt, but a personal journey. Yennefer asks Geralt to accompany her to a distant, deserted island to find a djinn, a powerful elemental genie. Her stated goal is to capture the djinn and use its power to break the magical bond that has tied them together for decades, a bond created by Geralt's last wish to a djinn many years ago. This premise is a powerful and emotional one, forcing both Geralt and the player to confront the nature of their relationship. Is their love real, or is it merely the product of a magical spell? The journey to the island is a chance for Geralt and Yennefer to reconnect and to confront the ghosts of their past. They travel through perilous waters and a treacherous, monster-infested landscape. But the true danger is in the emotional intimacy that the quest forces upon them. They discuss their history, their feelings for each other, and the uncertainties of their future. The quest requires Geralt to use his investigative and tracking skills to locate the djinn's hiding place. He must also use his combat abilities to protect Yennefer from the magical creatures that guard the djinn. The climax of the quest is not a battle, but a conversation, a moment of profound emotional vulnerability. Yennefer finally captures the djinn and makes her wish, and the outcome is a moment of truth for both of them. The magical bond is broken, and they must face the reality of their feelings for each other without the influence of the spell. As a result, Geralt is left with a choice: to tell Yennefer that he still loves her or to walk away. This decision has a profound impact on Geralt's life and his future, a direct consequence of a detour that began with a search for a magical creature, but ended with a test of the heart. The quest is a beautiful and poignant exploration of love, fate, and free will, a powerful reminder that Geralt's journey is as much about his relationships as it is about his professional duties. It underscores the depth of the narrative and the emotional complexity of the characters. The relentless pursuit of Ciri often leads Geralt into situations where the trail is cold, the leads are scarce, and the answers are hidden behind a veil of mystery. The quest following the thread is a brilliant example of this, a journey that begins with a mundane contract, but quickly unfolds into a complex and dangerous investigation. Geralt is hired by a professional tracker to hunt down a powerful monster that has been preying on the local populace. This initial premise is a classic monster hunt. Nevertheless, his investigation, driven by his keen intellect and his heightened senses, reveals a different truth. The monster is not a natural creature, but a powerful magical entity, a being that possesses an unsettling intellect and a twisted sense of humor. The trail of clues leads Geralt through a series of elaborate traps and puzzles, each one designed to test his wit and his combat prowess. The quest is a profound departure from the typical monster contract. Here, Geralt must utilize a different set of skills, not his knowledge of monster weaknesses and alchemical oils, but his razor-sharp deductive reasoning and his ability to read people and situations. He becomes a true detective, a Sherlock Holmes in the world of The Witcher. His investigation takes him through the grimy underbelly of the city, from the opulent homes of the city's elite to the seedy back alleys and brothels. He interviews witnesses, sifts through clues, and carefully analyzes the crime scenes, much like a modern-day forensic investigator. The tension in this quest is not derived from a combat encounter, but from the slow, creeping dread of realizing that a human is capable of such profound evil. The quest is a moral labyrinth, forcing Geralt to consider multiple suspects, each with their own motive and alibi. The final revelation is a shocking twist. The killer is a seemingly respectable and pious doctor named Hubert Reich, a man who, driven by a twisted and obsessive interpretation of a religious text, believes he is ridding the city of sinners. This conclusion forces Geralt to confront the unsettling truth that the most dangerous monsters are often those who wear the guise of humanity, and that their motivations can be born of something far more insidious than simple hunger or rage. This quest is a powerful testament to the complexity of Geralt's character, demonstrating his competence not just in the face of supernatural threats, but also in the darkest corners of the human psyche. The trail of Ciri is a ghost, a whisper on the wind that leads Geralt across the war-torn lands of Velen. The pursuit is relentless, yet it is often interrupted by the siren call of a contract, a desperate plea for help that he, by his very nature and profession, cannot entirely ignore. Such is the case with the quest, A Towerful of Mice, a seemingly standard contract that quickly devolves into a chilling tale of tragedy, betrayal, and spectral vengeance. Geralt is hired by a sorcerer, Kira Metz, to investigate a mysterious curse on an island known as Fyke Isle. The initial objective is straightforward: locate the source of the plague that has driven the villagers mad. Nevertheless, upon arrival, the atmosphere is heavy with a sense of profound sadness and lingering malice. The island is not merely plagued by rats, it is haunted by a dark, malevolent force. Geralt's investigation begins with a methodical approach. He uses his Witcher senses to track disturbances, to listen for the echoes of past events, and to piece together the tragic history of the island's inhabitants. He discovers that the supposed plague was, in fact, the work of a powerful curse brought about by the betrayal and murder of a young woman named Annabel. She was a mage who fell in love with a nobleman, Graham, but was tragically betrayed by her family and the very villagers she sought to protect. They sealed her in a tower and left her to die, whereupon she cursed them all in her final moments. The narrative of this quest is rich and layered, forcing Geralt to confront not just a supernatural entity, but the depths of human cruelty and the enduring power of a wrong spirit. The twist comes when Geralt discovers that Annabel's spirit, now transformed into a pestilent wraith-like being known as a pester, can be freed from her curse not through combat, but through an act of genuine love and reconciliation. He must find Graham, the man who betrayed her, and convince him to return to the island and offer her a final farewell. This decision presents Geralt with a moral quandary. He can either fight the vengeful spirit, a task that would be perilous and likely futile, or he can attempt to resolve the conflict peacefully, an approach that falls outside the typical scope of his profession. As a result, his detective skills are once again at the forefront. He must not only unravel the history, but also negotiate a delicate and emotionally charged resolution. His success hinges not on his sword, but on his ability to understand and navigate the complexities of human and non-human emotions. The ultimate resolution, in which Graham's heartfelt kiss finally frees Annabelle's spirit, is a poignant and powerful moment, underscoring that some of the most dangerous curses are born not of magic, but of deep-seated pain and betrayal. This journey into the heart of a tragic history reinforces the theme that Geralt is not just a killer of monsters, but a healer of wounds, both physical and emotional, and his path is forever intertwined with the tragic and beautiful stories of those he meets. While the hunt for Ciri is the central pillar of the main quest line, Geralt's search for information often leads him into the lives of deeply flawed and troubled individuals, people whose personal dramas and tragedies become inextricably linked with his own journey. The storyline involving the Bloody Baron, also known as Philip Strenger, is the most profound example of this. Initially, Geralt's interest in the Baron is purely transactional. He is a source of information about Ciri. However, as Geralt delves deeper into the Baron's life, he becomes entangled in a tragic domestic drama, a story of abuse, alcoholism, and a family torn apart by its own demons. The Baron, a seemingly cruel and ruthless man, reveals a different side of himself, a man burdened by guilt and a desperate, clumsy desire to atone for his past mistakes. He asks Geralt to find his missing wife Anna and their daughter Tamara. As a result, Geralt's investigation is not a monster hunt, but a psychological journey into the heart of a broken family. He must use his skills to piece together the events that led to Anna's disappearance, a process that involves examining the Baron's home, interviewing witnesses, and delving into the hidden secrets of the Baron's life. This quest is a departure from the typical Witcher's work, requiring an emotional sensitivity and an understanding of human frailties that are not usually part of his professional repertoire. The quest is a series of revelations. Geralt discovers the dark truth of the Baron's abuse, the tragic miscarriage that led to Anna's flight, and the existence of a creature known as a botchling, the cursed spirit of their miscarried child. Geralt's journey is a reflection of the Baron's own pain and regret, forcing the Witcher to confront the grey areas of human morality and the devastating consequences of personal failings. He is not just an investigator, he is an unwitting therapist, a figure who must navigate the deep-seated resentment and trauma of a family on the brink of collapse. The conclusion of this storyline is a powerful testament to the theme of consequence. The Baron's fate is directly tied to Geralt's choices. Whether the Baron finds a measure of peace or meets a tragic end is determined by Geralt's actions and his ability to see beyond the surface of a seemingly irredeemable man. This journey with the Baron is not a simple side quest. It is a foundational piece of the narrative, a story that humanizes Geralt and the world he inhabits, demonstrating that the greatest monsters are not always the ones with fangs and claws, but the ones that reside within the human heart. Geralt's wanderings often lead him into the dangerous world of debts, promises, and the consequences of past actions. The quest, an unpaid debt, is a powerful example of this. A journey that begins with a simple request, but quickly evolves into a dangerous duel and a test of Geralt's honor. Geralt is approached by a merchant who has a long-standing debt with a powerful and dangerous gangster. The merchant, unable to pay, is facing the wrath of the gangster and his thugs. He asks Geralt to help him with his problem, a request that seems to be a simple matter of negotiation. Nevertheless, Geralt quickly discovers that the situation is far more complex than it appears to be. The gangster, a former rival of Geralt's, challenges him to a duel, a fight to the death to settle their past grievances. As a result, Geralt is once again faced with a difficult choice. He can refuse the duel and walk away, a decision that would align with his professional code, but would also mean leaving the merchant to his fate, or he can accept the duel and face the consequences. The quest forces Geralt to carefully weigh the potential outcomes of his actions. To refuse the duel would be to abandon his honor and his commitment to helping the innocent. To accept the duel would be to risk his life for a stranger. His success hinges not on his sword, but on his ability to navigate the complexities of the criminal underworld and the honor code of the gangsters. The quest culminates in a confrontation with the gangster, but the true victory is not in his defeat, but in the resolution of the internal conflicts of the characters. This journey into the heart of a morally ambiguous situation is a powerful reminder that not all contracts are what they appear to be. It highlights Geralt's inherent sense of justice and his willingness to go against the grain, to do what is right. The quest is a microcosm of the larger themes of The Witcher 3. The constant moral ambiguity, the lack of clear-cut good and evil, and the weight of every decision. It demonstrates that Geralt's side quests are not filler, but essential components of the narrative, each one a test of his character and his conscience. Geralt's travels often lead him into the opulent and dangerous world of the Northern Realms elite. The quest, a matter of life and death, is a fascinating and crucial detour that takes Geralt away from the muddy battlefields of Velen and into the gilded halls of a high society masquerade ball in Novigrad. This quest, on the surface, appears to be a simple social affair, a chance to gather information about Ciri. However, it quickly transforms into a high-stakes heist and a politically charged mission. Geralt attends the ball with the sorceress Triss Merigold, but their presence is not merely for leisure. The true objective is to help a group of mages and sorceresses, Triss among them, escape Novigrad, where they are being hunted and persecuted by the zealous witch hunters. This quest forces Geralt to navigate a new set of challenges that require subtlety and discretion, rather than a drawn sword. He must blend in with the aristocracy, a feat that is often humorous and awkward given his nature. Nevertheless, his true skills are soon put to the test. He must use his keen observation and instincts to identify a thief who has stolen a vital magical artifact. The investigation requires Geralt to meticulously examine the guests, question suspects, and piece together the events of the evening, all while maintaining a facade of polite indifference. The tension is palpable. The threat is not a monster, but the constant danger of being discovered by the witch hunters who are present at the ball. Their presence a chilling reminder of the persecution and intolerance that plagues the world. The quest is a masterful exercise in misdirection. The search for the thief is the primary focus, yet the true objective is to secure the safe passage of the mages, a political and moral act of profound consequence. Geralt's actions during this quest have a direct impact on the lives of many individuals, and his success or failure determines the fate of Triss and the other mages. As a result, this mission is a powerful example of how Geralt's journey, even when focused on a personal quest, is inextricably linked to the larger political and social conflicts of the continent. It demonstrates his willingness to help those in need, even at great personal risk, and highlights the depth of his relationships with those he cares about. The quest is a testament to Geralt's multifaceted nature, showcasing his ability to be more than just a warrior, but also a spy, a diplomat, and a protector. Geralt's travels through Skellige are often punctuated by requests for help that seem to be standard monster contracts. However, the quest Skellige's Most Wanted is a brilliant subversion of this trope, a journey that begins with a simple contract, but quickly devolves into a humorous and morally ambiguous situation. Geralt is hired by a Skelligan warrior to track down and kill a large, ferocious beast that has been terrorizing the local populace. This initial premise is straightforward, fitting neatly into Geralt's professional duties. Nevertheless, his investigation, driven by his inherent curiosity and a sense of unease, reveals a different truth. The beast is not a malicious monster, but a large, harmless, and very drunk rock troll who has a bad habit of getting into mischief. The troll, named Bart, is not a threat to anyone. His destructive behavior is a result of his drunken escapades and a series of misunderstandings with the local populace. As a result, Geralt is once again faced with a difficult choice. He can fulfill the warrior's request and kill the innocent troll, a decision that would align with his initial contract, but would also be a profound act of injustice. Or he can attempt to find a peaceful resolution, a course of action that would place him at odds with the client, and a series of powerful, unyielding customs. The quest forces Geralt to carefully weigh the potential outcomes of his actions. To kill the troll would be a simple matter, but it would also be a cruel and unnecessary act. To find a peaceful resolution would require him to use his wit and his diplomacy to convince the warrior to let the troll live. His success hinges not on his sword but on his ability to navigate the complexities of Skelligan culture and the stubbornness of the warrior. The quest culminates in a confrontation with the drunken troll, but the true victory is not in its defeat, but in the resolution of the internal conflicts of the characters. This journey into the heart of a comedic yet morally complex situation is a powerful reminder that not all contracts are what they appear to be. It highlights Geralt's inherent sense of justice and his willingness to go against the grain to do what is right. The quest is a microcosm of the larger themes of The Witcher 3, the constant moral ambiguity, the lack of clear-cut good and evil, and the weight of every decision. It demonstrates that Geralt's side quests are not filler, but essential components of the narrative, each one a test of his character and his conscience. While Geralt's primary focus remains his desperate search for Ciri, the urban labyrinth of Novigrad presents a new kind of threat, a darkness that is not of the forests or the ruins, but of the human heart itself. The quest Carnal Sins introduces Geralt to a series of gruesome murders that are not the work of a ghoul or a vampire, but of a cunning and deranged serial killer. The investigation begins with the death of a friend's colleague, a simple request for help that evolves into a city-wide hunt. Geralt's path crosses with a string of seemingly unrelated murders, all of which share a common, grotesque signature. The victims, all from different walks of life, are found mutilated in a way that suggests a ritualistic or deeply personal motive. This quest is a profound departure from the typical monster contract. Here, Geralt must utilize a different set of skills, not his knowledge of monster weaknesses and alchemical oils, but his razor-sharp deductive reasoning and his ability to read people and situations. He becomes a true detective, a Sherlock Holmes in the world of The Witcher. His investigation takes him through the grimy underbelly of Novigrad, from the opulent homes of the city's elite to the seedy back alleys and brothels. He interviews witnesses, sifts through clues, and carefully analyzes the crime scenes, much like a modern-day forensic investigator. The tension in this quest is not derived from a combat encounter, but from the slow, creeping dread of realizing that a human is capable of such profound evil. The quest is a moral labyrinth, forcing Geralt to consider multiple suspects, each with their own motive and alibi. He must navigate the political and social currents of Novigrad, as well as the prejudices of its people, who are quick to blame the non-human or the outsider. As a result, the trail of clues leads him to a number of red herrings, including a religious fanatic, a shady coroner, and a heartbroken lover, each of whom seems to have a plausible motive. The final revelation is a shocking twist. The killer is a seemingly respectable and pious doctor named Hubert Reich, a man who, driven by a twisted and obsessive interpretation of a religious text, believes he is ridding the city of sinners. This conclusion forces Geralt to confront the unsettling truth that the most dangerous monsters are often those who wear the guise of humanity, and that their motivations can be born of something far more insidious than simple hunger or rage. Ultimately, Geralt must make a final, decisive choice to either kill Reich or let him be taken by the authorities, a decision that underscores the theme of justice versus vengeance. This quest is a powerful testament to the complexity of Geralt's character, demonstrating his competence not just in the face of supernatural threats, but also in the darkest corners of the human psyche. The journey through Velen is a descent into a land consumed by war, poverty, and despair. Amidst the ravaged villages and desolate landscapes, there are ancient, powerful forces at play, forces that predate the war and the petty squabbles of men. The quest, the Whispering Hillock, is a prime example of this, a journey that begins with a simple contract, but quickly unfolds into a moral and ethical entanglement of profound consequences. Geralt is approached by a coven of ancient, powerful beings, known as the Crones of Crookback Bog. They task him with eliminating a malicious spirit that dwells within a large, sentient tree, a spirit they claim is a powerful demon preying on the local populace. This initial premise is straightforward, fitting neatly into Geralt's professional duties. Nevertheless, his investigation, driven by his inherent curiosity and a sense of unease, reveals a different truth. The spirit, which is revealed to be a powerful and ancient force of nature, is not a demon, but a being trapped by the Crones, a being that possesses knowledge of a dark secret and a powerful connection to the fate of a group of children from the orphanage in the nearby village of Downwarren. As a result, Geralt is once again faced with a difficult choice. He can fulfill the Crone's request and slay the spirit, a decision that would align with his initial contract, but would also mean destroying a powerful entity that might be capable of a great good. Or he can attempt to free the spirit, a course of action that would place him at odds with the powerful Crones. The quest forces Geralt to carefully weigh the potential outcomes of his actions. To kill the spirit would be to side with the Crones, powerful beings who have a twisted and manipulative relationship with the locals. To free the spirit would be to risk their wrath, but it also offers a chance to save the children from the clutches of the Crones. The spirit itself is not a simple villain. It explains its story and its desire for freedom, its ancient connection to the land, and its power over the local flora and fauna. This encounter is a microcosm of the larger themes of The Witcher 3. The constant moral ambiguity, the lack of clear-cut good and evil, and the weight of every decision. Geralt's ultimate choice determines the fate of the children and the balance of power in the bog, a profound and lasting consequence that far outweighs the simple matter of a monster contract. The very nature of this quest, and its ability to turn a simple monster hunt into a complex moral dilemma, underscores the depth and richness of Geralt's journey, demonstrating that his side quests are not filler, but essential components of the narrative, each one a test of his character and his conscience, the lands between. A realm steeped in the ashes of a shattered history and the quiet despair of a broken world are not merely a stage for grand heroics, but a tapestry woven from countless individual tragedies and personal quests. A Tarnished's journey to become the Elden Lord is the central narrative, yet it is in the forgotten corners and on the desolate paths that the true weight of this world is felt. Consider, for instance, the somber pilgrimage of Hyetta, a maiden who, despite her blindness, follows a path illuminated by a singular, consuming purpose. Her quest begins as a simple one, to find and consume the potent, luminous grapes that she believes will grant her enlightenment and restore her sight. Nevertheless, as the Tarnished assists her in this journey, a more sinister and profound truth begins to unfold. Each grape she consumes is not a fruit of the land, but a shabriri grape, a literal human eyeball that is a relic of a past transgression, a memory of a sacrifice. This revelation transforms her quest from one of simple healing into a descent into a much deeper, more disturbing mystery. The very act of helping her forces the Tarnished to confront the terrible costs of this world's decay and the dark origins of its most beautiful things. Furthermore, the path she walks is not her own. She is a vessel, a prophet unknowingly guided by a malevolent, destructive power, the frenzied flame. This ancient, primordial force of chaos and despair seeks to burn the entire world to ash, to return all life to a single, undifferentiated nothingness. As a result, the Tarnished is not simply a guide, but an accomplice in a slow, creeping ritual of corruption. Each act of assistance, each grape delivered, brings Hyetta closer to becoming the vessel of the flame, a living conduit for its devastating power. Her journey, therefore, is a microcosm of the larger cosmological conflict at the heart of the world, a slow burn that highlights the pervasive and corrupting influence of the outer gods. This quest is a powerful example of how a seemingly benevolent action can lead to a tragic and irreversible outcome, a testament to the moral ambiguity that defines the lands between. It is a slow, methodical unfolding of a character's fate, a testament to how the world's most powerful narratives are often found in the quiet, unassuming moments between the grand, dramatic battles. As our journey through the hidden paths of Geralt of Rivia comes to a gentle close, we reflect on the countless detours that have shaped his character and enriched his world. We have seen him as a detective, a diplomat, and a reluctant hero, a man who, despite his stoic exterior, possesses a profound sense of justice and an unwavering commitment to those he cares about. The quest for Ciri is the heart of his story, yet it is in the quiet moments between the battles, in the small, seemingly insignificant contracts and unexpected encounters, that we truly come to understand the White Wolf. These journeys, whether they lead him to a haunted island, a bustling city, or a remote cave, are not mere distractions. They are the very essence of his legend, revealing the depth of his character and the complexity of the world he inhabits. His path is not a simple one, but a meandering, morally ambiguous, and deeply human one. As the night descends and the world outside grows quiet, take a moment to allow these stories to settle in your mind. The sounds of the world are fading, and the echoes of Geralt's journey are but a soft whisper in the darkness. Allow your thoughts to drift and find peace in the stillness. May your rest be deep and tranquil, and may your dreams be of a peaceful world. Good night.